Tulmore, Shishin Magachi. Tulmore is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, I'm Alison Larkin, writer, comedian, narrator, and host of the Jane Austen podcast. Join me as we embark on a journey through Austen's timeless stories, starting with Pride and Prejudice. The Jane Austen podcast with Alison Larkin is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello world and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Coming In. I'm your host, Jillian Clare. Well, today was Inauguration Day when I'm recording this, and I wasn't able to watch it because I've been without power for the past, 24 hours. It's been a hoot. I am recording this, and then I'm going to go down to a friend's house and sit with a mask on while I edit all of this together because the power's been out. It's so windy here in the Southern California, and it's caused us to lose power. I listened to the inauguration on the radio like it was 1920, and I gotta say it was a different experience. Really, really interesting. Today on the show we have Scout Compton. You know her from Halloween, the Runaways, Nashville, a bunch of other stuff. She's been working her whole life, and I've known her for since I was like 12, so long time. And it was great to catch up with her, so here's my conversation with Scout Compton. Welcome to the show, Scout!
Hi!
It's been forever and a half since I've seen you, talk to you, all the above.
It literally has been forever and a half.
I was trying to figure it out, like, when the last time I would have seen you was, and I feel like it has to have been like a decade ago.
Was it really a decade ago?
I just can't think of anything beyond that. Like, I just feel like it's been that long, which is bizarre to me.
Oh, that's crazy. I know. I feel like I run into people all the time. And then, like, when I talk to you, I'm like, oh, no, I just ran into you last week. And you're like, actually, no, we haven't seen each other for like 12 years. Like,
it's true. Well, because we all grew up together. I actually was recently going through a bunch of photos trying to digitize everything. And I found photos from my 13th birthday of us.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. The outfits are amazing.
The outfits. I think my mom dressed me back then.
I am sure my mom did. There was a lot of tube tops and double layers happening. I don't know.
Yeah. How have you been? How has adulthood been?
Adulthood has been quite the journey.
Mm-hmm. Same here, girl. Same here.
Constantly just trying to find new ways to be creative and not kill myself being in this industry. But
God, I think
it's a different story.
I think I have like a midlife crisis in this industry, like every maybe 2 months.
Yeah, because you're just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah. Why am I here? And then you'll get like a hit and be like, oh, that's why. And then you'll be like, why am I here again? Oh, that's why.
Right. I like this. Cool.
I do like this a lot. Great.
Got it. It's so funny how that happens, especially because we grew up in this world. So we haven't really known anything other than this world.
See, that's what people don't understand. Like when they're like, well, you can just do something else. It's like, no. Like, I can't. No. This was injected into my system at like a young age, and this is all I know. This is like my education, my schooling. This was it. It wasn't like college. It wasn't anything else. This is it.
It's literally all we know how to do.
Yeah. I know, and people look down, they're like, really? That's it? I'm like, you tried doing it since you were like 7.
Exactly. You tried 12-hour days as a teenager. It's hard.
Seriously, it is hard. It really is. We have like massive bruises
Yeah.
from this industry. It's crazy.
It is crazy. But I mean, you've been in this industry since you were what, like 6, 7?
I've been trying to figure that out. I'm like, when did I actually like first? I think it was 7 or 8, I think. I'm
Do you
not
remember what
exactly
like
sure.
your first big role was? Like your first big set?
I think it was like, how everybody starts, it's like doing the student films and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I did a student film that was called Thursday Afternoon. And that was like the first audition I ever went to with like lines. And then I like booked it. And my mom was like, oh, maybe this is something you can do. But I think that was like I think it was about like a Lysol bottle that had like God living in it or something. The janitor thought God was living in this Lysol bottle or something. It was, it's a lot of fun. I remember it
That's
being a lot of fun.
amazing.
Yeah. I think that was my first real big role.
Wow. If I could
Yeah.
get a copy of that.
Oh, I think it's on IMDb if you want
Oh my God, I'm
to.
going to look into this. And then how long till you joined Gilmore Girls? Because you were on there for a little bit of a stint, right?
Yeah, I was. I think Gilmore Girls came after I was doing Jay Leno. Yeah, I think Gilmore Girls was like when I always I look really young, and I've
Mm.
always looked young for my age. And I think I was 12 and I was playing like no, I think I was 11 and I was playing like a 9 or 10-year-old, I think. And I think I did that season for like four seasons sporadically. Whenever they
Wow.
needed some like little child to like throw a curveball.
When they needed a little person to start saying funny things again.
Yeah, they were like, "Can you make the characters annoyed? Thank you."
That's amazing. And then you kind of, after Gilmore Girls, it was kind of just a bunch of random things, right? Like sleepover, movies, TV
Yeah,
shows.
it's so strange because like you think about, you get residuals and stuff like
Hmm.
that from like years and years ago, and you're like, oh yeah, I've done like every cop show under the sun. I've done every like a medical show on like everything. So yeah, it was just like a bunch of that. And then Sleepover was like the first big, I guess, movie that I booked when I was in my preteens.
Hmm. Which
um
was it was just honestly, it was a great movie when we were that young. It
yeah.
was so fun to watch. I remember that premiere and looking back on those photos, and it's hysterical looking again at the outfits because we all just look like a total train wreck,
The
and it's amazing.
outfits, I know. I'm like, what kind of parent thought those outfits were good? I ask my mom that all the time. I'm like, how did you think that was it? Like that was the outfit. I'm like, these are on the internet forever.
It's true. It's true. But I remember that movie being so much fun to be at. I'm a couple years younger than you, and I remember
Mhm.
watching it and loving it. And it
Yeah.
was you and Brie and just everybody. Alexa Vega, wasn't that right?
Yeah, Alexa, she was the lead. Yeah, there's so many cool Jane Lynch, Jeff Garland, Steve
Yeah.
Carell, like that was like his first role. I mean, it's such a cool cast in
It
it.
is.
And I remember actually when before COVID, when like Davy Wayne's or like nightclubs were open,
Hmm.
I was in the line for a restroom, and this woman kept staring at me. And the only time like a girl like gives you like the daggers is because I was thinking back. I was like, oh no, did I like dance with her boyfriend or something? And I didn't know. Like I was like, oh my god, like you don't like. I don't expect like women my age to be like, hey. And she like stopped me like as she was exiting. She was like, hey, I'm so sorry for staring. And I was like, it's fine. I was like, did something happen? And she was like, you were in Sleepover, right? And
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
oh my God. I was like, I thought I did something bad. Like, yes, I am. I'm so sorry. It was so funny. My heart was like pounding. I was like, this girl's gonna kick my ass.
But no, it was just that she recognized you from a movie
Yeah.
when you were like 14.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, great. I'm glad that I look like that. Still, great. Puberty has not. Okay, cool.
Hey, that's a compliment, man. You're still getting recognized from that movie. That's a major compliment.
Yeah, I guess that's good. It's gonna be great when I'm like 70. I'm gonna be like, ha! I look like I'm 40.
Oh my
We'll
god, that's
see.
amazing. And then so you did sleepover, you've done all these other things, and then Halloween hits and it like
Yes.
changes everything. Rob Zombie, Laurie Strode. I mean, so cool. So
Yeah,
cool.
thank you. Yeah, that was a trip. Like it was the like untitled Rob Zombie project at the time, and I remember the audition process was pretty gnarly. I mean, Rob doesn't like to see people in person, so it was casting, and you didn't hear anything for like 2 months, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, well we're gonna do all these testing," and so then you finally meet this like crazy looking man, and it was like 3 or 4 different testing and they cast everybody first except for
Wow.
my role, and it was like a long process, but when I got I remember like people that I haven't heard from in forever. I didn't even know I had it, and people were texting me and they were like, "Oh my god, you're gonna be Laurie Strode," blah, blah, blah. And I had no idea what that meant at the time. I was like, yeah, man, it's gonna be a cool horror movie. I don't know what's happening.
You're like, I don't understand why you're so excited about this, but thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And then it hit the net, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. This is something very, very important and beyond me. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. So had you watched the Halloween films before doing the movies or no?
I think I had seen them like against my will, excuse me, from like my uncles. And I know that my one of my uncles had the mask and he would scare me from time to time, but I had no idea who Michael Myers was and that it was from, Michael Myers Halloween franchise, and it was this big thing. I was 17 at the time. Like,
Yeah.
I think my favorite movies were like rom-coms and like stuff
Right.
like that. Like, I just didn't really watch too many horror movies, which is surprising because I was raised up in a mortuary. So people always tend to be like, "Oh, that's why you do these movies, because of your upbringing." And it's like, no, it just kind of happened.
I had no idea.
Did you not? Yeah,
I did not know this.
See, I keep that a secret because then I wouldn't probably have too many friends.
On the contrary, I feel like you'd make more.
Yeah, now I would. Now people are like, "Oh my god, it's so cool! Blah, tell me all the stories." But when I was younger, remember that wasn't the hot ticket.
That was not the thing to announce at parties.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'd be like, what's her Christina Ricci from Casper?
Hey, that's cool.
I know, right?
I love that.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. I just watched that recently. I was like, wow, I just imagine what that audition process would have been like.
Oh god, I can't even, especially being that young and like not really having CGI as available as it is now. Like, trying to figure out how you're going to talk to a ghost when it's not something that it's like normal at that point.
I find it easier to talk to like an ex than to talk to like I don't know, like if you don't know an actor and if it's always like a different experience because you could like prepare the scene completely different, and then you're being put in a room and be like, oh, that person is delivering this completely not okay. All right, we're gonna do this. Let's go.
That's true. You can totally control the narrative then. You can just do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
like
I'm a team
idea.
player. I'm definitely a team player, so I'm not gonna be like, actually, no.
Can you say it this way for me? Because I can't do this.
Do you know I actually had that happen recently on set?
No.
Yeah, it was, and I've worked with some cool people, and this actress literally tried to control what myself and another actress were doing. And
oh my god.
She so much so that she was complaining to the director, and she was like, well, I can only give you as much as they're giving me. And I was like, I was like, girl, I have never been insulted before on a set, but that really is insulting. And so we had to like go, it was like a kidnapping scene, and we were already like, we've got guns in our hands, like we are big, you know what I'm saying? So to go any bigger was just, it didn't make any sense. but we had to do it for her. We had to go big, like gun in mouth, like really weird stuff. And I'm like, this isn't going to add up because I'm not going to do this stuff on my close-up.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to call you all these terrible, terrible names and stick a gun in your mouth. I already have a gun pointed at you. I don't need to do any of this.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty, like, through my 20-something years, I've never experienced anything like that. And I was like, well, that's a first.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But we also sell merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell and grow at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. They have an all-in-one e-commerce platform and in-person POS system, so wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. Shopify has allowed us to share something tangible with the podcast community we've built here, selling our beanies, sweatshirts, and mugs to fans of our shows without taking up too much time from all the other work we do to bring you even more great content. And it's not just us. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Shopify is also the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/REALM now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm. You can shop from anywhere doing pretty much anything. You might shop while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast. And however you shop, we all know and love the thrill of the hunt. But do you also know how to get the thrill of the best deals? Because Rakuten shoppers do. With Rakuten, they get the deals they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Sephora, Nike, and even Expedia if you're looking to get some travel in. And getting cash back doesn't mean you have to miss out on sales because those can just be stacked right on top. It's easy to use and based on a simple idea. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back through PayPal or check. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's RAKUTEN.
But it sounds like you handled it well. I don't know that I could handle that well on set. I would have probably freaked out and been like, what are you talking about?
I definitely did handle it, and then I had to like kind of get myself off set or else I would have just been fuming. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna walk away from this situation and let it go because this really did, like, it, you know, it pisses you off inside. It's like, I would never do that to another actor.
It's just so insulting. Like, dude, these are my choices for my character. Let me do them.
So insulting. I know you I'm sure you've been on set where other actors are like, oh yeah, he means this. You should do it like, it's like, girl or man,
like,
stop
let
it.
me, just please stop. Just let me do my job.
Just let me do my job. Unless we're working together.
Trained.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do Halloween, and those are huge successes, and then you do the Runaways, and you're on Nashville, and you've done so many interesting things throughout your career. I mean, you've been working for, like you said, over 20 years, which is amazing.
Thank you.
What is your favorite set that you've been on? Do you have one?
Oh, you know, there's so honestly, I find like every set is like my favorite set for different, you know, memories that I've had. But I feel like, I mean, Halloween, obviously, that was just like a crazy change from, you know, a child to adulthood. You know, I literally turned 18 on the set.
Wow.
And then I think, you know, I did this movie called Love Ranch with Helen Mirren and Joe Pesci, and
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and that audition process was crazy enough, but the set was just, I mean, that was like my first like adult film, I would say,
Mm.
with like adult content, but I was still kind of pretty young. You know, I was in my, I think I was 19 or 20. So that was definitely like a learning curve. And to be with like someone as amazing as Helen Mirren and to like learn under her, and it
Just
was
amazing.
yeah, it was incredible and an experience that I'll hold close to my heart forever.
Yeah, I mean, Helen Mirren is like the queen, literally.
Literally I think she taught me so much about, especially like confidence and being
Mm.
comfortable, like not even as an actor, just being comfortable in your own skin. And that woman is so comfortable in her own skin, and it just it sticks with me forever, and it's something that I definitely have included in my life as a woman growing up, you know. It's things like that that you are on, like these jobs, it's this occupation that you're doing, but you're able to learn like life lessons as well, is pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like being in the arts, you're able to have that experience more than somebody who's, you know, an accountant. You don't really learn much
No.
about life doing
No.
jobs like that, but I'm sure there are other lessons that come from it. But with us, like you said, you're on set with these people who are just incredible and are teaching you all these things that are for set but also not for set, and you get to take home and have that like live in you, and it's so interesting and so special.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. It really is. It's such a great feeling.
I love that. Helen Mirren, man. She's so cool.
She
She's
is
so
cool.
cool.
She is pretty rad. I can't say like so many good things about her for
Would
sure.
you say that's your favorite person you've worked with?
You know, yeah, man, that's a tough one. I mean, from Helen to like even Rob Zombie, like he's just a cool dude.
Yeah.
I worked with, I mean, Ellen Page, like I loved working with her. I learned, I was so nervous working with her because we share the same birthday, but I was a little bit younger, but I just remember being such a big fan of Hard Candy. I was like, oh, I really like your stuff, you know. And then
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart, the Runaways, and Dakota Fanning, I've known her forever. I know who was a really cool person to watch was Michael Shannon.
Oh man, I love his acting.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a cool cat to watch. He's a little like to himself on set, but he's a great guy to watch perform.
I can definitely see that. I can see him being the one sitting in the corner, like just marinating in his own world
Yeah,
and then
just kind
bringing
of
it.
zenning out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Michael Shannon.
it's so interesting. Like everybody's thing is different, you know?
Mm.
And I teach young actors, and they always ask me, they're like, "Well, what's the right thing to do?" And I'm like, "You know, honestly, like I'm not here to tell you like what works for me. We have to figure out what works for you. And there's different methods, different things for everybody. It's
Totally.
what's finding that like fits your soul and your body to help you get to where you need to be, you know?"
It's true. I've always been a music person. It's a weird little thing. It's like if I have to cry or do something very dramatic, there's like certain songs that set me off,
Oh, wow.
and I listen to that, and then boom, I'm there.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
But
great.
it's different for everyone. Like you said, it's you got to find what exactly sets your brain off in those different ways.
Yeah, exactly. I know I tried the music thing. I tried the music thing for nerves is what
Mm.
I tried for like the audition, you know, nerves. And I think it made me like forget my lines. I was like, I'm trying to focus on this song, but I try to remember my lines. It's like paragraph of the whole page. It was a little much for me, but I love that works for you. That's great.
I remember people used to sit in audition rooms and everybody would have their headphones on so that you didn't hear the other person inside.
Yes.
That was a
Yes.
big thing too.
Oh my
Especially
God.
growing up. I feel like every teenager had headphones in with their CD-ROM player.
Yep. Those thin walls, those thin audition walls.
Yeah.
I feel like they did that on purpose.
Me too. I think it was just to get into our heads a little bit. Maybe not, but
Oh, God.
felt like
The
it.
things that casting directors do, I swear to God.
Speaking of audition rooms, do you have any fun audition stories you want to share?
You know, I remember this one, and I remember I went in for this TV show, and the doors were open to the casting office, and they were watching auditions from all over the world for the same role. And you would hear, I think they watched like 10 girls like auditions while we were sitting in the waiting area, and you would sometimes hear like just the name, and then they would go next, or like they would play for a little bit, and then they would make rude comments or something, or like say like, oh, like this girl, like I don't know, like her hair doesn't really look like, could it match, like
Oh my God.
stupid shit. And I finally like looked at all the girls, and nobody was saying anything. It's always weird in audition rooms anyways.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? No, not gonna do this. I went to the room and I was like, hey, I was like, just so you know, we can all hear this. Can I close this door?
Dang!
And they looked at me and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you can close the door. It's like, thank you. Thank you so much. It was so messed up. It really
Good for
was.
you. First off, you stood up for yourself and every other actor in there, which was amazing.
Yes. I mean, it's like I know, like I don't know, like some actors like get in their head that like, I don't know how to get actors and actresses, especially like new actors and actresses that have like just started. Like we're all talented. You know what I'm saying? They need us.
Right.
It's not the other way around. So if you can get that into your head, you'll go into these rooms lighter, and just to like have fun with it. Like there's so many reasons as to why you didn't get it, and nothing has to do with your talent at all.
Right.
Like,
yeah, no, a lot of it
at all.
actually has to do with the look and the hair and your eye color and things you just cannot control.
Exactly. I remember I was in one of those networks, and it's always like you can hear like a needle drop. It's always so silent. And I remember this executive came out, and he was like, hey, it's like, don't look so serious. Like, they need you. You're here for a reason. Like, let's relax, and that stuck with me. And I was like, oh man, this guy's so right. Like, like we should,
yes, man.
Yeah, we should literally just bring wine to these things and be like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you like to do?
I love that. It's true though, because they do need us. They have to cast it.
Yes.
They need somebody.
Yes, and yes.
That's amazing. I can't believe they had the door open like that for you to hear everything. I feel like that's just so like disrespectful.
Yeah, but I feel like
everyone there.
I feel like that's all the time with casting offices. I really do. I feel like maybe it's like a test, or maybe it's just like, I don't know. It's like a casting syndrome that they do. I'm like, what is happening, man?
What is going on? I do not understand.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Where can people find you on social media?
I have an Instagram that my thing is Under the Sea Scout, and then I also have a Twitter that's Pouty Scouty. That's
adorable.
Thank you so much. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's pretty much all you need these days, right?
Yeah, right. There's like TikTok. There's all that stuff too. I'm like, oh, liking it.
I've tried TikTok, but I just feel like I'm too old. I ended up doing baking things, and it's just not working out for me.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love that. I would watch that. I've saved, when I did have TikTok, I saved so many recipes from that. So
it's good for that. There's a lot of good recipes on there.
Oh, I do love it. I do love my recipes.
What's next for you? Do you have anything on the books?
Yeah, I have a few films coming out. I'm about to fly out to go do this John Malkovich movie, but it's so interesting. There's like there's just tons of stuff. But if you just log on to my Instagram, I try to keep everything up to date there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on, and it was so nice to talk to you after all this time.
Yeah, so nice to talk to you too. I'm glad that everything's well.
Me too. Go kick ass with John Malkovich. That'll be dope.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks again to Scout for coming on the show. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening to it right now. Follow us on social media. Those links are in the show notes. Tell your friends, tell your family, and tune in next week. And as always, thanks for coming in.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ohanian. You may know me as one of the co-founders of Reddit, but more recently, a large part of my identity is being a father to my 2 wonderful daughters. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. The one thing I constantly hear successful people say, without fail, is that they wish they'd spent more time with their kids. That's time no one can get back. So I decided to create Business Dad, to engage in the conversation about how we're spending our time now, providing a forum for successful dads to share their joys and challenges of being a working parent. You'll get to hear from a wide range of business dads, from Rainn Wilson and Guy Raz to Todd Carmichael and Shane Battier. And while this podcast will talk about business and will definitely be featuring dads, I think everyone can learn something from these incredible conversations as we unpack the expectations we all have about careers, relationships, and ourselves. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.